Narcissists absolutely hate it when you tell them that you are not compatible. You are not the same. You are very different. You have nothing in common. They're going to respond in one of two ways. They will either overtly rage at you and accuse you of just thinking you're better than everybody else. That's why you're saying that. Or they will covertly play the victim and say, well, I'm not perfect. You just need to allow God to continue to work on me. And it keeps you stuck in the toxic relationship. Let's talk about this. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Now, before I do continue, I want to let you know that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box right below this video, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I take telephone calls and video calls through Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. Also, the Royal We has a private membership available for you where you get daily support, not only by me, but a growing community of people all over the world. There's a workout program for you. There's fellowship once a week and so much more, all in the privacy of a members-only app. So head on down there, check out the private membership, and schedule some one-on-one time. I would love the opportunity to speak with you. Now, let's talk about this. Why narcissistic people hate the idea and the truth and the reality that you're not compatible. Narcissists reject the truth that people have different values. Narcissistic people are only able to see the world through their lens. They believe that they are normal. More than normal, they are the ideal way in which humanity ought to be. And this can be at any given moment of a narcissist's life, whether they're cheating, yelling and screaming and fighting with people, acting crazy. It's normalized, and in their mindset, this is how life is. This is how everybody is. You'll oftentimes hear narcissistic people tell you, hey, everybody cheats. Everybody yells and screams. Everybody raises their voice. Everybody calls people names. I remember hearing this when I was dealing with the narcissistic people. When they were cussing me out, calling me names, berating me, just acting crazy around me, and I was saying, hey, look, we don't have to be in a relationship. I don't like being called. I was instantly just silenced, and I was met with the rage of, oh, you think you're better than everybody else, don't you, Kevin? I'm like, no, I don't. I don't think I'm better than anybody. It's not about that. I just don't like the way you're acting. It's not a part of my values. And this is where I was met with, everybody does this. Everybody calls people names. You're no better, Kevin, than anybody else. Everybody cusses people out. Everybody fights with people. This is very common for narcissistic people to really believe this. They simply are not able to see through a lens of the reality of people having different values. They can't. I believe narcissistic people are terrified at the reality that people have different values than them. It forces a narcissistic person to have to look inside of themselves and say, wow, wait a minute. I'm not normal. It's not normal the way in which I act. It's not the ideal way of living. No, it's not. A narcissistic person can't do that. Their whole life is structured on this ego, which is false. They have no real self. It's not a true self. It's just trying to fit in, which means that they rely on that. They rely on them fitting in. They rely on their attitude or their behavior being normalized. They need that in order to even have a self. And so by you saying, hey, no, we have nothing in common, you're forcing them to look at that and have to admit that that's wrong. And now some of you might be saying, but okay, Kevin, but wait a minute. You said earlier that some narcissistic people will say that they are the ones with the problem and they're working on it and God is working on them and that we need to give them more patience. Isn't that the narcissistic person admitting that they're not normal? Well, kind of, because I've experienced that too. Sometimes they might yell at you and accuse you of thinking you're better than them. Other times they might tell you, hey, they're not perfect. God's working on them. But for this narcissistic person, it's accomplishing the same thing. Both of them are normalizing the behavior. You see, when a narcissistic person is telling you, God's working on me and I'm changing, they're normalizing all of these bad behaviors that they do as just being mistakes. Mistakes that everybody does. Mistakes that God has to work with everybody to get over. Do you see what's taking place there? They're minimizing their behavior to simple mistakes, just certain things that happen that everybody does, that God's just working out of them. All the cheating, the name calling, the gaslighting, the accusations, the gossip, they're just little mistakes, but God's going to work that stuff out of me. Do you see what's taking place there? They're normalizing it. They're trying to get you to believe that it's normal for people to have these times in their life where they gossip. We all have times in our life where we gossip and we demean others and we fight others and we throw things at others and we do all these horrible things, right? Well, obviously that's wrong. It is so wrong, it's ridiculous. That's like saying, well, we all break into houses and steal at times, don't we? Or we all run around and, well, we've all killed a person, haven't we? No. Do you see how ridiculous it is for a narcissistic person to believe that, yet they do? Again, they have to, because narcissists hate the truth that we are all different and we have different values. Narcissists hate to have the pressure to have to develop their own internal values, their own sense of self. They would rather just try to find this normal baseline and try to fit into that than to ever have to look in and say, what are my values? Because there's just an abyss. There's a black hole there within narcissists. They don't have any values. And if narcissists don't have any values, then how can you have any values? You can't have any values. If you do have values, well, it's just because you think you're better than everybody else. Do not let narcissistic people keep you stuck in a relationship with this perfection mentality. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We're not perfect. So let's just stay together in this toxicity. It's not about perfection. It's about compatibility. I mean, the truth is we're all imperfect. Narcissists are imperfect. I'm imperfect. You're imperfect. There's no question about that. But that doesn't mean we're all compatible with each other. It's not about perfection. It's about identifying friendships and especially intimate relationships. That was a wasp that just flew by me in my presence. It's about finding people in your life, relationships, and others who share in your imperfections. It's about identifying imperfections that you resonate with others. My best relationships are with people who understand my imperfections and I understand theirs. Am I going to understand the imperfections of a thief? Not necessarily, especially if they continue to operate out of their imperfection of thieving. Am I going to understand the imperfections of a killer, of a murderer? No, especially if they continue to operate out of the mindset of killing and murdering. I'm not going to resonate with that. Am I going to understand the imperfections of somebody who likes to demean and belittle and just put people down? No, because it's not who I am. So yes, I have imperfections in all kinds of other areas of my life. If you want me to share with you my imperfections, let me know in the comment section, and maybe I'll put a video out there sharing all my imperfections. I don't know. Maybe not. But nonetheless, it's about making sure that our relationships are met with people who we understand each other's perfections. We wrestle with the same things. That's what equally yoked is. So it's absolutely okay to not be compatible with a certain person, with a family member even. You may have nothing in common with them. Yes, even a family can have separate values. You can have different values than your mom, different values than your dad. And this is why it seems narcissistic and abusive, because you all have different values. I'm glad that you're here. As I said before, I'm here to support you. Down in the description box, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. Telephone calls are available, Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. Also, check out the Rowie private membership, where you get daily support from me and a growing community of people all over the world. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any future Rowie content. Like this video, share it with somebody who needs to watch it now, and check out one of these videos right here recommended by the YouTube algorithm